You got to love game week. And, man, I can't thank you enough for what y'all have done in my short period of time being here, covering the Razorbacks. Obviously, the passion, the excitement level is definitely at an all-time high right now. And I'm the enthusiasm is just all across our state is just it's incredible. You can feel it. You can feel the passion level in the air. And man, I'm glad it's finally here. This is something we've all been waiting on. And to know to walk out there on that practice field yesterday and share with these players, hey, it's game week, and to see them bouncing around was really good. Really want to talk a little bit today about Eastern Illinois, and you know, the Coach Dameron, obviously from Rogers, right up the road, played here, former Razorback. We always talk about Razorbacks of the past, the present, and the future. Very well thought of in this profession, very well respected. Played here, obviously, since from 79 to 83 underneath Coach Holtz. No stranger to big games. Let me just share this with you. He's no stranger to big games at all. Obviously, being a defensive coordinator at ULM, took that unit into Alabama and beat them. So this guy has been in big ball games, been in big bowl games, and has been very successful. A great offensive and defensive-minded coach. Very well respected. They're a very good football team. They're a dangerous football team. And they got a lot of tradition, 16 postseason appearances. And I can assure you that we're going to get their absolute best. There's no doubt about that. And I think that Saturday is an opportunity for us as we talk about Razorbacks of the past, the present, and the future. But, man, it's a first chance for our guys to talk about who we are and tell our story. I think we're going to have a phenomenal recruiting group. I'm excited about the future Razorbacks that'll be in attendance, and I know we'll be able to host that in our new renovated stadium. Can't wait for our fans to see it. I know we had a huge turnout the other day from Fan Day, and that was phenomenal. And really excited about having them to be able to come in here and be able to see all the new renovations and the excitement level that's going to be on display Saturday at 3 o'clock. One of our core principles in our program is energy with work ethic. And I think you guys have seen that in me and seen that demonstrated on that football field. If you've come to a practice and been a part of it, there's a lot of energy. And I would expect that to be at an all-time high Saturday at 3 o'clock, not just from our players but also from our fans as we try to make this the loudest place to play in the country this Saturday at 3 o'clock. We need our fans to be a part of that and locking arms with us to get this done. Talking a little bit just briefly about us, and I'll circle back to Eastern Illinois in just a few minutes, but you know, we've come a long way offensively in a short period of time. We're nowhere near a finished product. I want to get that out. We've gotten better. We've gotten better every day, but I'm excited to get a starting point in this Saturday from not just an offense but a defense and a special teams unit, at least a spot that we know that we can grade from and move forward from. Cole Kelly will be our starter. Ty will play, but we're gonna start Cole, and Ty's gonna get in and have an opportunity to play as well. Defensively, I'm excited to see this unit perform. I know hiring John Chavis and bringing his style of play and his resume and his experience. I know that our defensive unit is extremely excited. They're tired of hitting on each other. So it's time. It's time to see these guys turn it loose. I'm very excited for Grant Morgan and Devon McClure. These two young men definitely earned the scholarship that they were presented last night. Very deserving of this. And I think you see that was very evident with the excitement level of their teammates and how they celebrated that, as well as Connor Limpert. Connor's another one that is very deserving of this. And I'm excited for him and this opportunity that he has in front of him as well. I've challenged each one of our special teams battalions to see which one is going to step up and set the standard. We've challenged them. We need at least 3 of these units, these battalions, to rise to the top and to be a definite force throughout the course of the season. And Saturday we get an opportunity to see which one sets the tone. You know, moving forward, with this team, you know, for 1 year, everyone has told these guys, this football team told us all of off season who we are and what we're going to do this year. And Saturday, we get a chance to begin telling our own story. And that's my message to our football team. And, you know, my observation of Eastern Illinois, as it is in all first games, there's a lot of uncertainty. This is a very scary football team. They've got a lot of new personnel. But you know, with a new offensive coordinator, he's very well respected. And Scott Parr, this will be his first year, knows how to score points, knows how to get the ball down the field. But there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things you can only watch so much film of last year. You can only watch so much film before the coordinators have came from in the past. At some point, you've got to worry about the Arkansas Razorbacks, and at the end of the day. And so just a few guys that watching film have really stood out to me, and start talking a little bit about Eastern Illinois' offense. They got 5 to 6 returning starters, depends on how you look at it. 6 of them have played substantial amount through the course of last year. They've got 2 transfer quarterbacks in. They're going to play both of them. You know, Harry Woodbury is a transfer from Navarro and has played in this system. They transferred Jonathan Brantley from Tulane. And so they're going to play both quarterbacks. Jonathan is very athletic. Harry throws a great ball, has the ball jumps out of his hand exceptionally well. Jonathan, again, going against Jonathan in my previous stop at SMU, very athletic and very electric when the ball gets in the open field. They've got a wide receiver, 2 of them actually, that are really stand out to me. Alexander Hollis, number 15. He's the most explosive player after watching the videos that we've watched, and definitely the most explosive player on their offense. Led the team in receiving yards a year ago. The other receiver, Aaron Gooch, number 7, another explosive wide receiver. He was second on the team in receptions last year. The leading rusher is returning as well, Isaiah Johnson, a big back, 6'1", 215. So he definitely brings the physicalness of running the offense that they have. They've got, from an offensive line standpoint, they've got 1 returning starter. But the right guard and the left tackle both have played in a lot of ball games. Aaron Callaway, the right tackle, is that returning starter, but they do got some guys up front. Defensively, just looking, the main culprit, what you would expect from a defensive unit, your leaders to be your linebackers, and they're no different. They're 2 leading leaders of their team, or Detarius Johnson. He's just a sophomore, very active, number 51. And number 45, Joe Coupeau. And Joe is a returning starter last year, 6'2", 230, and very active. I mean, always around the ball, very physical. Leading a team that they have a cornerback, Mark Williams, number 21, led the team in interceptions. Again, you know, plays a lot of man coverage, doesn't mind stepping up in a press coverage situation. But they've got several other guys up front, Josh Price being a defensive end that's been very active. But again, you know, I know how it is. You go into off seasons and you go into you know, fall camp, and injuries happen and you move guys around. And so just going off of what they've had a year ago, I know that we'll get their absolute best. Regardless who's out on that football field, we'll get their best. And the message is this week it's our time to tell our story, and it's our time to focus in on what we've got to do to be the best we can be Saturday at 3 o'clock. And it goes back to the Arkansas Razorbacks. And so with that, I'm sure we have questions, and I'll open up for questions.
Coach, how did you go about deciding on Cole, and also when and how did that conversation go with the quarterbacks?
Yeah, you know, we first of all, let me back up with these guys. Both Ty and Cole and Dalton and John Stephen and Connor and Jack, they all got substantial reps through the course of camp. And they all did some really good things, and I'm really proud of all of them. We're very fortunate to have the quarterbacks that we have, and I'm excited about that. But as we started going into the scrimmage situations, and the thing we were looking for is consistency, and consistency over a long period of time, not just maybe one scrimmage or two scrimmages, but through the course of practice and through the course of the way things go. And I was really in hopes that there would be a clear-cut, boom, here it is. It was evident from the first scrimmage. We didn't get that. We didn't. We got a really good, healthy competition at that position, and that's a good thing. And so I guess we started narrowing down and looking, I guess it was probably Saturday, we kind of started having an idea late in the last week and just seeing how practice went. But overall, Ty was still getting first-team reps and will continue to get reps. I mean, it's not that he's not going to get reps, he is. And then we just felt like, for the decision-making, what we felt like going into this first game, that Cole had earned that right to start. And, doesn't say that he's the finisher, but he's the starter. And Ty's going to play. And regardless, if Ty would have started, Cole was going to play. We've got to get whoever is going to be in that second spot right there, have got to get prepared and ready for their time if it should arise, or continue to go about, preparing for in case of an injury. This is something that I've done several times before. I did with Cole Stout and Deshaun, and we've done it with Matt Davis and Ben Hicks and Taj Boyd and Cole Stout. I mean, this is something that is not new to us and new to what I'm trying to do here, but we've got to be able to protect, and we've got to be able to make sure we're ready and have someone with ample game experience when the game is on the line in case something does happen.
Hey, Chad, could you give us a little bit of a roster updates in terms of Jalen Merrick, what his status is, if Wagner might be available, and just some of the guys who've been dinged up a little?
Yeah, right now nothing on Jalen to this point, as far as, we're still going through everything with him. With Dalton Wagner is back. He is back. He was cleared. He'll be back in for tomorrow. Actually was in last night at practice. I'm trying to think if there was anyone else there that was there anyone else that you? Yeah, Jeremy's back. Jeremy, he worked out yesterday, and let's see, that's pretty much. I think that's it. Grayson practiced yesterday as well, and so we expect him to be back.
What have you seen maturity-wise from Cole after he missed the last game last season following his arrest, and how important is it for him to, I guess, walk the straight and narrow here moving forward?
Well, one thing that I shared with Cole is I have with all our players is, when a new staff comes in, it's their opportunity to start over, whatever that may be. As I shared with him last night, and I met with every one of the quarterbacks last night, one-on-one, and met with our young guys together, but with Ty and with Cole one-on-one, one of the things I shared is that everything counts. Everything matters. You're the face of the program. Whoever the starter is, you're the face of the university. When you're being put in that quarterback position, it's a big deal to play football for the University of Arkansas. It's a bigger deal to be the starter for the University of Arkansas, and to let him know the responsibilities that come along with that. And again, this is a collective assessment over since we've started camp. I mean, even into spring and building out of spring and the competition going on with Ty and him. I mean, it's great, and I'm excited to see Ty. I'm excited to see what he can do out there on the field. This is by no stretch of the imagination saying, hey, this is a lifetime contract. I shared that with Cole last night. You don't have a lifetime contract. Your job is to get the ball in the end zone. And so he's excited about this, and Ty was excited about getting his opportunity to come in and play. So, but everything counts. Yes, sir.
So, the young quarterbacks, and you mentioned that you met
Mhm.
them. What have you seen from your two two freshmen specifically. And what do you see their roles going down through the season? Would you play them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, the main thing I've seen with those guys is just how fierce of competitors they are, and how they support each other. I think that's a tribute, and going back to even Cole and Ty, how those guys supporting each other as well. I mean, it's been a healthy competition in that room, and you know, when Ty's out there, Cole's supporting him, and the quarterbacks are supporting whoever's out on that field. And as I shared with them last night, I want to continue to see that. Regardless who the person is on the field, we're going to continue to support them. But going back to Connor and John Stephen is just fierce competitors. And I shared with them last night, I said, you need to be prepared, ready to play. You could play Saturday. But you're going to play. There's going to be a point in time that you're going to get in and you're going to play this year. And you know, from the new red shirt rule that allows us that opportunity to be able to do that. Now, when and exactly the moment, I don't know that, and won't know that probably till that moment. But I want them engaged and ready and prepared as if they were the starter.
Of the receivers, neither Deion Stewart or Chase Harrell got mentioned that much compared to some others, but they're now they're backups. Kind of what have they done to fit in?
Yeah, well, Chase has been having he's had a slight hamstring through the last, I don't know, week or so of camp. And so he's back. He's coming back into it. So you know, we'll see how he's going to progress. He was out there last night. Deion Stewart, again, just another one that has made some plays out in camp. He's electric with the ball in his hands. I know we've listed just a two deep right there, but there's a lot more than that that's going to play. So.
I had a question for you about Dre Greenlaw. You know a little bit about his background. Just what do you think of him as a young man, his maturity level? And do you have any suspensions for game one?
We do. We do have some suspensions for game one. Some guys that will not play game one Ryder Lucas and Mike Woods will not play in game one. Dre Greenlaw, I think, is a phenomenal leader. I think this young man gets it. He understands. He approaches every day with an attitude of gratitude. He's appreciative of what he gets and where he's the people that have helped him along the way, and where he's been and where he is now in his life. He's very appreciative, and he's one of the hardest workers. I think you can pull our catapult numbers and see that this guy, when he steps on the field, he knows one speed, and that's everything he has. And matter of fact, it's really challenged Chief in some areas to have to hold him back a little bit, because he's such a fierce and relentless worker. And so Chief has done a really good job, especially as camp got longer, of monitoring him. But I'm excited about Dre. I'm excited about his future. I'm excited about his leadership on that defensive side.
We didn't get a special teams depth chart. Who's your kicker and punter and your return guys?
Yeah. Connor Limpert will definitely, he'll kick for us. Davion Warren will be our return guy. Jared Cornelius, obviously, he'll be our punt return. And our punter will be Blake Johnson. And our snapper will be Jordan Silver.
Any more questions for Coach? You want to wait on the mic, or can I just yell it? Yeah, go ahead. All right. Touches for running backs. Do you have a specific number that you want to hit each guy, or just kind of go with the flow of the game?
Yeah, probably just go to the flow of the game. You know, Devwah Whaley will start for us. But obviously, you've seen there, Chase Hayden's going to play, Rakeem Boyd's going to play. They're all going to play. It's all kind of the flow of the game, and see how much T.J. Hammonds, the different roles that these guys have. It's really hard to sell, but they're going to play.
No, it's Michael Taylor's there to starting end spot, and I guess Gabe Richardson's is at a backup. Kind of what went into that, and yeah, I thought of this when you were talking about Kim Dameron. I'm assuming you didn't invite. He's a letterman. You didn't invite to the scrimmages, I assume.
I'm sorry,
I'm assuming you didn't invite Kim Dameron to the scrimmages.
Yeah, I didn't check the stands for him. I figured he had a lot of other things going on, but You know, Michael Taylor, just again, consistency, just his relentless work ethic. You know, I think Dorian is coming on. Dorian's going to play. I think you'll see as we do and do the rotation that we have defensively, these guys are going to play substantial. It's just this guy's going to start the first snap, and from there we'll probably roll by series. And then Gabe Richardson, obviously Gabe and Randy have done a good job there. Randy's coming off of a hamstring, so how limited he'll be through Saturday, we don't know. But Gabe's gotten the majority of the reps through camp, and again, being able to keep each other fresh. But you'll see Gabe extremely early.
I was going to ask about the DN, so I'll ask about the tackles. It looks like Sosa had been running a little second team, so he's listed first here. And why no nickel listing, just by chance?
Well, you know, I just think that's just kind of the way we listed it here, just to start this thing out, to see how it's going to go from the nickel standpoint. You know, we know Devon McClure is a guy that's been very active in camp and will be in that nickel position and be in there early. You know, Sosa, again, just is we've got him listed both or, so one can, you know, be the starter, and one not. We'll kind of go through the course of the week and see how this thing unfolds and how it works. But, you know, we both know that they're both going to play. They're going to play early, and they're going to play a substantial.
Coach, we got a chance to see the stadium and go through the expansion. Saw your locker room. Your thoughts on the locker room? How are y'all going to enter through the stadium? I guess through the actual boxes, so to speak. And did you have any input in any of the finishing touches?
Well, I think for the most part, all the design and everything was laid out. The locker and obviously some of the graphics and the areas. I think you can see that we had some input in that. I mean, I kind of went back as I went through there. Y'all probably had the same response that I did, and our kids did, was wow. You know, I had a fortunate to, you know, Hunter and I went over earlier in the week and walked it, and that's the first time I'd been back in it since February. And I was blown away last Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it was. And even to go back in there Saturday and to go through the hog walk and do everything, just a simulated game. A lot of the players, especially the older guys, like, you know, why are we going through the hog walk? Why are we you know, how does this work in? And I said, because we don't want Saturday to be the first day that you see this opportunity, to see this facility. But when they got in there, it was just like y'all were. It was like, wow, this is a game changer. You know, just seeing pictures and the videos of what the finished product was going to look like didn't do it justice until you walked in there and saw the expression on our players' faces and seeing them videoing and jumping up and down and just talking about, you know, how great this place is. And so, and then to be able to exit out and go through the club level, touch the state of Arkansas, the big monument stone there, the one Arkansas, the one Razorback stone, symbolizes, you know, as I shared with them as we got gathered right around that stone before we walked out for the Beanie Bowl, was that, you know, just remember we impact a lot of lives in this state, and by touching this stone symbolize our ability to lock arms as one Razorback as we take this field. And so I thought it was very, you know, if they had asked before they even had the drawings, if they had asked what you would have wanted, I mean, they did a great job with it. Let me just share you that.
Was the stone your idea?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was, I just saw on the video when it all came out, it was there was a stone there, and I thought, well, again, that's so fitting. And I know that, you know, the similarities and how that the entrance into the stadium is, and the similarities, the entrance into AT&T Stadium and the Star, and there's a lot of great things there that symbolizes what being one Razorback is all about.
Back to last night, and how'd you come up with the idea to do the scholarship announcement the way you did, and just the reaction from those kids, and just, you know, why those three?
Well, those three, first of all, because they earned that. They've worked hard, and I think that you could talk about all three of them and the impact that they have. Now, Devon being the newest of the three, and this guy being a big impact player for us and going to play a lot, if not start for us in some areas. and on special teams. Grant Morgan, I think, when I think of Grant Morgan, I think nothing symbolizes what this program is about more than what Grant Morgan represents. Someone that's been told his whole life that you can't play there, you can't do this, and he's defied the odds all the way through. And to get to that point and be able to just make play after play after play in scrimmages and in practice. And this guy knows one speed, and he's very similar to Dre Greenlaw and how he approaches every day. And you know, it's remarkable. I mean, when you see that, and you want so much to be able to, if you had an opportunity to help someone, that would be the guy. And from the very start of camp, you know, we always talk about who are potential scholarship award winners. And we'll talk about it as a staff, and then through camp, and we'll see how the performance goes. And his name was one of the first ones that was brought up. And so we just held on and see how the performance would held through camp. And then Connor Limpert. I know Connor's been here, and he's had impacts and victories of last year, and another young man that's very deserving of this. So to be able to do that, those are the really special moments as a coach and coaches, our coaching staff and teams, and those guys will never forget that moment. And so how it came up, I mean, I don't know. We were just kind of sitting and talking and just kind of said, well, we got the new uniform rule, and why don't we just try to do something at the end? And I was wanting to do it a little earlier in the week, or last week, but I just wasn't prepared. So it just kind of came to us.
That's a good last question. So the new offices upstairs, did you have any impact on deciding that, and what did you guys want to change around?
Ours up here?
Upstairs, yeah, in
Absolutely.
football, right?
No, absolutely. You know, well, let me back up. The way the staff sizes have grown since the completion of the Fred Smith Center, I think that the staff sizes at that point really started taking off. And so when you walked in, just the feasibility of space and the growth of staffs, we had no place to put people. We were literally having 2 and 3 people in one small office, and some even in offense and defensive staff rooms. So we knew then we had to immediately just address and try to redesign some of the space that we had, especially with our recruiting department growing in the size that we grew coming in here in December. So having an on-campus recruiting center and an off-campus recruiting center, and to be able to have the space to house everyone. So yes, I had full input on that. Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.